Your Voice, Shropshire Disability Network Newsletter, July 2011. DWP told to sharpen up the way it works. A new National Audit Office report finds that the Department for Work and Pensions, DWP, will have to make rapid progress in reorganising the way it operates if it's to meet its target of achieving sustainable running costs reductions of £2.7 billion, while implementing substantial welfare reforms and a £17 billion reduction in benefits and pensions by 2014 to 15. The department has the largest annual expenditure of any central government department, and so its cost reductions will be central to the government's meeting its priority objective of reducing the budget deficit. The report recognises that the DWP is only at the start of its new cost reduction challenge. However, it says, without basing its running cost reduction plans more on robust information on the profile of its business costs and how that relates to the value of the services delivered, the department is not in the position to make rational choices about what it should stop doing, what it should change, and what it should continue. Recent cost reductions have been based largely on budget restrictions rather than on fundamental reform of working practices, the report continues. 3 months into the spending review, and the department does not yet have a detailed model of how it wants to run in the future. Without such a model, senior managers are less likely to be able to prioritise the changes that are needed and to explain to staff what their role might be. The existing plans specify the respective budgets available for 2011 to 12, but only the Job Centre Plus plan specifies what structural changes are needed and the steps involved in achieving them, up to 2014 to 15. This has been taken from the Disability Alliance, www.disabilityalliance.org/NAODWP2. Community Council's wide range of help. Whether you need office space for your organisation, a venue for the seminar or a training session, or want to hire equipment for an outside event, the Community Council's Training and Resource Centre can offer a high-quality tailored solution to meet your needs. A furnished high-specification office is available for use exclusively by voluntary and community organisations. The training suite is a modern, flexible, fully equipped, light-filtered and air-conditioned space capable of accommodating up to 40 delegates with modular furniture so that the room can be set out to suit your event. A range of presentation aids are available to hire. In addition to the training suite, there is a meeting room available for up to 15 delegates, plus 2 interview rooms suitable for up to 4 delegates. A range of equipment is available for loan. You can contact the CCS Events Manager on 01743 237 871 for more information, or you can go to www.shropshire-rcc.org.uk/facilities_for_hire. This has been taken from the Shropshire Infrastructure Partnership newsletter from the 31st of May. Why joining SDN is the best thing you'll do today. Membership of Shropshire Disability Network is free and open to all disabled adults and parents of children with disabilities living or working in Shropshire, and to carers, family members, advocates and disability organisations, pretty much everyone in fact. By joining, you'll not only enable us to represent your views to local and national government and statutory bodies such as social services and the NHS, but you will be strengthening the voice of the disabled community in Shropshire. Given the way things are going with government cuts, that might be more important than you realise. Benefits include the opportunity to meet new people, increase your support network, gain and share coping strategies, raise issues affecting you, and keep us up to date with what's going on. If you wish, you can become involved in subgroups and join our campaigns to achieve improvements and make a difference. You can also help us and yourself to reach our vision of respect and equal opportunity. How to join? Simply download a membership form to print and complete and then post back to the address on the form. Alternatively, you can email your details to membership@shropshire-disability.net. Once your details have been processed, we will send you login details to access additional features on the website, such as writing comments and blogs. Shropshire Disability Network values your feedback and welcomes any queries or suggestions you may have. You can email us at info@shropshire-disability.net. MND takes us to the same final destination, but by different routes and speeds. Motor neuron disease sufferer James Shaw talks about life and his illness and how he feels. This is a transcription of a recording played on BBC Radio Shropshire's breakfast show some weeks ago. It was followed by an interview between presenter Eric Smith and specialist nurse Helen Harris, who knows that James is a rule rather than the exception when it comes to MND. She said she has a growing waiting list of patients. James and Helen were helping to launch a project by the Amiga charity, which is aiming to raise enough money to buy at least 10 Apple iPads for Shropshire MND sufferers. Helen explained how the computers are a godsend for people who have lost almost all means of communication. I'm 59 and was diagnosed with MND in March 2008. Then I was working hard at my job and swimming 4 or 5 miles a week. When I used a computer with 2 weak fingers in one hand, I thought it was a minor stroke or cold weather. My doctor said it wasn't and advised me to see a neurologist. Because of the slight symptoms at our meeting, when the neurologist told me that I had MND, I kept smiling and thinking, I must be dreaming, wake up and go swimming, and then to work. I was obviously in a state of shock. After a couple of days, I faced up to the reality and began planning to make the most of life. With hindsight, I'd probably had MND for at least 2 years before diagnosis, but I hadn't thought the symptoms meant I was ill, e.g., needing help to fasten collar button on a new shirt, slowing down at swimming a mile, and falling over on a few country walks. I thought I was just getting older. Now I can't walk, stand, lift my arms, eat or speak. I'm totally dependent on others, but I still enjoy life. I have wonderful care and support from my wife Alison, family, friends, MNDA and professionals, and it's great to have MND patients and their families as friends too, to share feelings and experiences. I also focus on 3 ideas. Enjoy today and don't worry about tomorrow. Don't feel sorry for yourself, but for other people all over the world with problems such as bad health, poverty, climate change, war, etc. Try to keep the sense of humour going. I learnt that at work. In 2010 we did lots of walks with an electric wheelchair and went to theatres and cinemas. I went up Mount Snowdon on it with Alison, in the train. My arms are too weak to drive it now, so I haven't been outside for months. I spent nearly all of my time on my bed with my laptop, with which I keep in touch with friends and family, read books and newspapers, and play Scrabble and other games. I can't use a normal keyboard, but I can control the cursor on the screen with head movements to use Grid 2, on-screen keyboard and speaking machine, and I can just click on a mouse under my fingers. I use a non-invasive ventilator to help me breathe. At first I only used it at night with a facial mask and slept much better. Now I use it all day with a nasal mask when I'm awake and feel brighter. I also use a nebulizer, a cough assist machine which pumps phlegm into my mouth, and a suction machine which hoovers it out of my mouth. This is several times a day and helps me breathe. I drink red grape juice immediately before using the cough assist machine to loosen phlegm and bring it up more. As eating became more difficult, I lost 2.5 stone. Since I gave up eating altogether, I've put on a lot of healthy weight back on. I had a peg put in my stomach last year. I have nothing but Fort Sips high-calorie drinks and water through it 3 times a day and eat nothing else. I measure my daily calories and follow my dietitian's advice. MND takes us to the same final destination, but by different routes and speeds. We all seem to have different but similar symptoms at different times. Last year I met a patient who could use his arms and legs better than me, but, unlike me then, couldn't talk. Advice from MNDA, carers, doctors, nurses and therapists has been crucial, especially get help too early rather than too late, e.g. adapt home, ask for wheelchairs and a hoist, and stop walking before I fall and break my hip or damage my brain. If we don't ask for it until the moment we need it, we'll face disasters while we wait for it. I'm so grateful for the love and support of Alison and our 3 children, Fiona, Rosie and William, who ran the Great North Run for MNDA in 2009, and their courage in facing up to the situation. James Shaw, 12th of the 5th, 2011. Taking the strain on the train. Some disabled people have become so terrified of travelling that they are confined to their home, according to Alice Maynard, chair of leading disability charity Scope. Alice, a wheelchair user, said commuters shout and swear at her and her personal assistant once or twice a week because they have to give up their seats. She said, "I think it's increasing because of the pressures on people, the overcrowding on trains and the general economic climate. If I remind myself about everything that's been said, I would shut myself inside." She revealed that in one case, a commuting father with his daughter, who appeared to be 5 years old, screamed at her to get the F out of here. New data from Scope reveals that almost 50% of disabled people face discrimination on their way to and from work. This has been taken from www.dailymail.co.uk/disabled-terrified-travel-abuse-commuters. Editorial comment in the News Network newsletter. This article appeared in the Daily Mail, one of the tabloid newspapers whose hostile reporting on disability benefits has contributed to the apparent growing public animosity towards disabled people. A particularly nasty example appears in the comment section on the Daily Mail website. Mr. Mark B. writes, "On trains and the tube I find disabled people a nuisance. They can't help being how they are, but it does cause inconvenience on a crowded train or tube, with having someone in a wheelchair get on and cause delays to people with busy lives. They should get taxis or have carers buy their items or do shopping online and have everything delivered." News in brief. Investment return. A social return on investment (SROI) study has found that for every £1 invested in the charity WizKids, there are £10 to £65 in wider benefits. The analysis considered the impact of WizKids' wheelchair provision scheme on a child's family, their school and the NHS. The study has been cited as an example of best practice by Health Secretary Andrew Lansley. Social Firms Directory. A directory of products and services from social firms has been created on www.justbuy.org.uk. Social firms are social enterprises that predominantly employ staff who have a disability, sensory impairment, mental health problem, or face some other serious disadvantage when it comes to getting a job. Just Buy aims to encourage businesses to use business to business as well as direct to public sales. Too many, too old, too costly. The cost of caring for the elderly in the Western world could treble by 2050, according to a report by the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. The body represents the most industrialised nations. It estimates that 10% of people in OECD countries will be more than 80 years old by 2050. Community care success. Community-based care for people with complex learning disabilities and challenging behaviour saves money and vastly improves their quality of life compared with institutional care, according to Community Care. It says research following former residents of Orchard Hill Hospital in Sutton, London, found their quality of life score rose from 106 to 207 over 18 months after moving to community-based settings. Disclaimer. SDN seeks to provide a forum for all points of view on and to provide information about matters affecting people with disability, their families and carers. The views expressed in this newsletter are not necessarily those held by SDN. If you have a problem with any of the content of this newsletter, please contact the editor on newsletter@shropshire-disability.net.